Hello, my name is Adam Cheatham. I'm here to talk to you guys a little bit about what the difference in customization is today in the ERP market space, how that has evolved over time and what that means for your cloud ERP deployment. So once upon a time, ERP was hosted on servers at your company, and you could get your ERP, you could get your CRM, your warehouse management system, and they all lived on the same set of interconnected servers. And so when something in one of these systems needed to be changed or customized, whether it's an integration point or something else, you could go in and you could add that ERP and you can make those customizations as you wanted to, and you could create these custom interfaces and exchanges of information that have led to a lot of opportunities in the market space for companies to cater their softwares to their own particular needs. This became problematic as those systems aged. So as you get away from things that are green screen of the past and start thinking about something a bit more modernized, customization became something that limited companies from being able to upgrade their software, because when this custom piece right here is connected in a very specific way, if I pull this out and I put in something new, all of a sudden my WMS system speaks to my ERP and my CRM differently. So these customization points prevented me from being able to do that, because now I need to change each of these integration points. What also happens is when I upgrade my WMS system, everything that's coded in these integration points as custom spaces or customized within that software system needs to be re-customized. Those customizations have to be done again to keep that integration and that flow of information up to date and synced up with the other systems. What cloud has done in this has created an environment where your ERP lives with a whole bunch of other ERPs. So this is our overall ERP in this space, and you have client 1, client 2, client 3, client 4, client 5, 6, and all of these folks are living, their ERPs are living in the same space. We call that multi-tenant ERP. And so what happens is you create walls around each of these so that client 1 can't see client 2 can't see client 3. So that you have these walls, these little bubbles that each of these instances now of ERP live. It's on the same code platform. Up here, you owned your code up here. At this point now, this code does not belong to you. So when an upgrade is made to this ERP in the cloud, let's make that a little bit clearer. This ERP in the cloud, when an update is made to this, that same concept of every little space that's modified needs to be brought up to speed applies here as well. So when this ERP is updated, all these clients are updated at the same time. What that means is that this code base needs to be the same for every single one of these clients. Whereas in the past, you could do this for client 1, you could do this for client 2, for client 3, and customizations for client 1, which might be you, that won't have any impact on client 2, which would be me. So some of the benefits that you lose in that space is that flexibility. What happens then is if we now have our CRM and our WMS out here, because this is your environment, they may be separate cloud environments, they may be hosted on servers or something else, but for now we'll say that this is your home environment now, and you are client number 5. So we're going to put this and say this is you. And when you have an integration between your CRM and your WMS, this goes back and forth just fine because you own that. This space right here belongs to you. You own this endpoint and you own that endpoint. You do what you want between them. When you need to integrate your CRM to your ERP and your WMS to your ERP, you're now taking these integration points and connecting somebody else's ERP. You don't own this code, so you can change only anything outside of this barrier now. So instead of owning all of that, the ability to make those changes, you're now restricted from making those changes, which means that you have these two pieces that you can play with and these two pieces that you can play with. The problem that starts to happen is when you maintain this, these two integration points, and this ERP provider is making updates, you now have to go and update each of these integration points and all of the custom points that they map to and your other two systems. So now that you're owning these 2 points, you're constantly playing catch up with your ERP because it's going to upgrade without you because it's taking everybody with it, as opposed to in the past where you could upgrade on your own timeline or not at all, which is why a lot of people choose a new ERP. Your options are limited. One of your new options today that is a developing space in the market is called an integration platform as a service. And you'll see this abbreviated as IPaaS, Integration Platform as a Service. So what you can do is you can buy these integration points. And now all of a sudden, this is your integration platform as a service here, and somebody else is managing that. Somebody else is keeping up with this ERP provider. You're paying them to do that. That has pros and cons, of course, because now you don't have to do it, but at the same time, your integration between your CRM and your ERP is now dependent on somebody else. So you have several different parties here that become involved in this platform, which you have your ERP, who's party one, you, who's party two, which your ERP provider is always going to continue to think of it this way. They're one and you're two. You have your CRM, your WMS, your integration platform as a service, potentially another one if you start thinking down here. All of a sudden, as you can kind of tell, this infrastructure is starting to get very complicated very quickly, and what it's also doing is it's getting very expensive very quickly because you're now paying for cloud services every month, you're paying for integration platform as a service every month, and as you start replacing these other systems, you're also thinking cloud-based subscription services, and this type of a platform gets very expensive very quickly. And what it's also doing is it's creating more and more walls because you now have a wall here between your CRM and your integration platform as a service and your ERP, and the walls just kind of start to stack up. It allows you far less flexibility with your own software space, and it allows you to outsource a lot of those things that you would normally pay for internally to other providers. And a lot of times these are good things. Remember we talked about how this model of customize whatever you want, however much you want, has led to a lot of problems with being able to keep software systems up to date. And this model solves that problem. But what it does is it means that you have to be similar enough in your business to all of these other folks. So if you have particular ways of doing things that are competitive advantages for you, a software that makes you do this may make you compromise those competitive advantages, makes it more important that you choose the right software, that the software is the right fit for you, not just here, but your integration platform and any other add-ons that might be involved in this need to be the right fit. You need to be very careful and diligent about the way that you choose those. It also means that as you think about changing your software and changing your business to meet it, because there are spaces where changing your business to fit the software is the right thing to do, you lose that safety net of, well, if I can't change my business because that's how I make money, I'll just change the software. And that option is far more limited these days. It means that you are going to take a closer look at your business processes. You're going to take a closer look at getting them on best practice, because the more you're on best practice, the better you can take advantage of this model. and the more you can stay up to date, and the more you can minimize this platform as a service cost. It also means that you have to start thinking strategically on what business processes you're going to upgrade to, best practices, and which ones you're going to leave alone because they're part of your competitive advantage. As you change those processes, it becomes because of the software, and you need to wrap in an organizational change management tactic as well. So this particular set of problems is creating a whole new set of challenges for business owners, in that just adopting a cloud software is a bit more complicated and not quite as fantastic and problem solving as you would believe, because it does create other problems. And as you start to uncover some of the spaces in your implementation and in your lifespan of your ERP, you will find that these integration platforms as a services become a larger part of your business. So I appreciate the time that you're taking with me today to listen in on this this conversation. You know, if you guys have other questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I will be happy to talk to you about these types of things sometime in the future. Thanks.